Somewhere along the way, I stopped playing the piano and I didn't even realize it. Taking a bit of a different path today. And I know we've talked about how I'm rebuilding, so to speak, parts of my life. And one of those is bringing back passions and hobbies, the piano, that have been absent from my life for a very, very long time. And so, first, a little bit of history. When did I start playing? Well, when I was really young, to be honest. I was probably 7, 8 years old, maybe. Really hard to remember. Very young age. My parents decided it would be great to learn an instrument, so they opted for the piano since my neighbors next door, all their sons who are older than me, played the piano. And so it was what they saw as a valuable instrument. And it really has been, I gotta say. It's been something that on and off through the years has brought me a lot of value, a lot of joy. I've really enjoyed it. So I took lessons for maybe 10 years or so, maybe more. I'd gotten pretty good. Had a lot of different instructors, a lot of different piano teachers. Some came to the house, some I had to go to their place. But overall, it was a passion that was growing and building, and one that I ultimately kind of had forgotten about and let go. And now I'm going to be in the process of bringing it back in. And the beauty was, I had one piano teacher who was fantastic. He understood my desire to write songs. I never enjoyed learning scales or learning the typical songs that everybody else plays, for Elise or any of those. It was fine to do, but I had a passion for writing. I wanted to make my own music, my own sounds. And he understood that. And a big part of our lessons together, a huge component, was writing my own songs. And he encouraged it. We even had a big piano recital one time at his home or studio. I think it was his home. Beautiful place in La Jolla. All the parents of all his students came, and him and I got to play a duet of a song that I had created. So that was really, really cool. And then that just kind of kept going until it didn't. And I guess that's going to be the next piece that I want to talk about is what happened. So ultimately what happened is my musical taste changed. So I was a mid-teenager and was transitioning from Elton John, that was very piano heavy, to heavy metal rock and roll that was more guitar focused. And one Sunday, it was Easter Sunday, we were at a family friend's house and they had a guitar there. Acoustic guitar, but it was a guitar. I knew nothing about it, had no idea how to play. But I fiddled with it because I was the only kid there. I was kind of bored. So I just fiddled with that thing until my fingers were so sore from pressing the strings. But I took a liking to it. I slowly figured out a couple things as the day went on. And at some point hit my mom up and said, I want to learn how to play guitar too. And fortunately, she agreed. Maybe unfortunately, depends how you want to look at it. Ultimately, bought a guitar, bought a second guitar, self-taught. I did take a few lessons in the very beginning. Generally self-taught, worked my way up, played in local bands in our local music scene. It was really a great experience. Really felt like a young mini rock star, so to speak, locally. It was a lot of fun. But I think that new focus on guitar and a new focus in music is what ultimately transitioned me away from the piano. And then life starts to take over. You graduate high school, you get into college, you're studying, you're doing, and the idea, sometimes not even having access to a piano, it just sort of fades away, sadly, and you have fewer and fewer opportunities to engage in something that was so enjoyable and so much fun. And so I really believe it was just time and transition that I don't think there was any conscious effort to stop playing. I never said, I hate this, I'm never going to play again. The opportunities disappeared. At the same time, my interests were changing. And so one more passion, so to speak, was lost, replaced by another. But ultimately, that one then faded away when I was serious enough about college and school that I no longer played in bands, no longer played guitar. It really was a means to an end. It was a way to look cool. And once the cool factor went away, when it wasn't an issue anymore, so did the guitar. By that point, there was no access to a piano, so that was gone as well. And it's kind of a bummer because if that could have stayed, that could have in some way helped with the burnout that was slowly ensuing much later in life, but I believe the connection was certainly there, that without certain passions and hobbies to offset the stresses and demands of a career, definitely took a toll in some ways. I can't believe that it wouldn't have. And hence why I'm putting the concerted effort now into taking the piano back up. Just bought this guy a couple weeks ago, still fiddling with it, but things are coming back slowly but surely, difficultly, especially now that I no longer remember how to read music. It's all having to come out of my head. And I think this brings up a really good point in that with life, we can drift in different directions, sometimes consciously, often not. And that takes us to a place where we've lost certain things and exchanged them for other things. I lost the piano as I exchanged it for a busy life, became a mini rock and roll guy. And then at some point, a college student, focused entirely on school, and then graduate school. And then, I had met my wife somewhere along the way. Ultimately, we got married, started a household. There was just so much going on that life drifts in different directions. And unless we put a concerted effort into maintaining our hobbies, maintaining our passions, the things that calm us down, the things that bring us joy, the things that ground us, then we can end up in a place where we are potentially burning out, because all that's left is working on the demands, getting the job, getting the promotion, paying the bills, paying the mortgage, at some point having children, raising the children. And it's all about somebody else, and we forget about the intrinsic value that some things can bring to us. Now, everybody know, maybe you, certainly me, and that is definitely something that we contend with unless we put a conscious effort into not letting that happen. I'm going to play a little bit in a minute here, just to kind of give you an idea where my skill level has come back to and where I'm still struggling. But I'm going to rebuild it, and you're going to be a part of the process as I go through this. I'm going to document it so that we have a very clear trail of where I started after many years of not touching a keyboard to where I'll get in the next month or 2 or 3. My ultimate goal, you're going to laugh, is to make an album of music. Not through Warner Brothers or any big label. It's not going to be anything on the market. GarageBand, record some songs, put together enough that there's 30, 40 minutes of music, and enjoy it for what it is, give it to my friends and family, and hopefully they'll enjoy it as well. And I want to take a few minutes and tie this into my burnout with psychology and therapy, because I strongly believe if I would have had the ability to make music through a lot of those years, multitasking is still something difficult. Talking and playing is not something I can do. I think it would have buffered the stresses of a career and a field, and a very demanding one where you're giving so much of yourself to other people. I think doing something for myself, primarily making music, would have been a great buffer to potentially allow me to not get as stressed or frustrated as I maybe have become. And this may help me moving forward to rebuild a life with a new career potentially, or an adjunct career, new passions, or really actually refinding, rebuilding, re-accessing the old passions, and taking care of those sides of my own self-care. And potentially it's something I think all of us need to do. So with that, there's one little composition I've been working on. I want to share it with you. It's maybe not terribly exciting, but I definitely want you to hear it. Give me an idea, give me some feedback at least on what you think, and we go from there. It's a work in progress. I still don't play it very well. I still make mistakes, and the timing is horrible, but we're getting there. So here goes. Here comes the hard part. See, that timing's rough. Still got to work on that. See, Another mistake. Working on it. We're getting somewhere. I'll play more for you guys later. And I think I'll make another follow-up video with the piano too, because I think it would be important to kind of lay a little bit of this groundwork to give you guys an idea of where I'm going with this project.